Hi, I want to show you a Python module I've been working on that helps me manage our courses. So we keep all our courses in the Canvas LMS. It's a pretty popular LMS. We also use a program called Smartsheet. It's an online kind of spreadsheet, project management type piece of software. So I wanted to kind of connect the two to be able to kind of send data back and forth between them. And they both have APIs that I was able to access. So I was able to do that. So let me show you what I've done. I'm going to move kind of quick here. So my purpose is not to explain how this all works, but to kind of show you what we've been doing. Be happy to talk at length with anyone who's interested about more of the details. So we'll fire up Python and we'll load up the module by writing from psu.psu import psu, and then we will create an instance of that class here. Okay, great. Now, the first thing we want to do is, let's say we've got a new course. So let's say this course was just developed in Canvas. I will create a course object by saying course equals psu dot get course, and then we'll need a little bit of information so it knows what it's looking for. So we'll need this Canvas ID. It appears in the URL here. And we will need this sheet ID as well. So this sheet is just, if I go back, we've got this template here. We make a copy of this for each of our courses. It's just got a bunch of rows and kind of a starting point. Okay, so now we've got this. It'll ask us, what our course name is. And now we've got this course object. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say course get current inventory. And that will make a bunch of API calls to Canvas to get a bunch of information about the course. And then it will write that information to Smartsheet. So it gets all the module items, and then it gets all of the links, the images, the iframes that are contained within those pages, within those module item pages, and it writes all of that data to this Smartsheet. So if I refresh this, you'll see that now we have all these rows, and it's kind of hierarchical. So you can see I can collapse these. These parent rows are the module items, and then the children are the links and the files and the videos that are within those pages. So I can also collapse all if I just want to see the module items. And then I'll show you one of the biggest motivators actually for getting this started was updating dates. So we have 12-week schedules in the summer, and we have 15-week schedules in the fall and the spring. And even those 15-week schedules, the winter break and the spring break, they're not at the same time in the semester. So we can't just update the dates from one semester to the next by shifting dates by a certain number of days. So what we really need is generic schedules. So when I got that inventory, this gray block here, this is showing me the due dates, and it's got some availability dates here. This is what's currently in Canvas. So you can see these are summer 21 dates. If I scroll over, you'll see I've got this yellow block. This is meant to be our 12-week generic schedule. Another gray block, this will show you what the dates would be if it was following that 12-week schedule. Then we've got this green block, and this is meant to be our generic 15-week schedule. And then another gray block that would show you what that schedule would be. So because this is set to summer, what we can do is we can go up, we've got this formula row here, and we can just copy that and paste it to all these rows. And now it will create this generic schedule based on what the dates are in Canvas, right? So now we can take this block here, and we can copy it again, and we can paste special values only. So now we've got that 12-week schedule locked in. If we want to make changes to it, it's no longer just telling us what the schedule is based on what's in Canvas, but we can actually set the schedule, and then we can tell Canvas to update to that. And that these are the dates that would be. So right now these dates and these dates are the same. We can also take that 12-week schedule here and we can paste it in. Ooh, actually, no, we want to paste that, just the values, to our 15-week schedule. And we can say, oh, maybe this course, most of it's the same, but, you know, the final, that's actually going to be on week 15 on Sunday. And this isn't due on the 11th week. These are due on the 13th week. And maybe this is due on the 11th week. What have you. Okay, so we've made some changes. So this is our 15-week schedule now. And we can go back here and we can say course update Canvas dates. And I could have included, if I wanted to use the 12 or 15-week schedule in those parentheses, but I didn't. So it prompts me which I want to use. And then it will go through, it gives me a little feedback that it's working. It's updated those dates. So now we can go back over here in Canvas. We can see these are the summer dates. We refresh the page. And now they're updated to those fall dates. So it's getting that information from this generic schedule, which is actually, this generic schedule is generating these dates and then it's getting these dates. So that's been super helpful. Updating all the dates in our courses used to take somebody working on it more or less full-time for multiple weeks. Now, as long as we've got these generic schedules written out, we can do it very quickly. Okay, so that was one of the big benefits of doing this and one of the motivators for doing this, but there's a lot of other things that we can do. One of the other ones is being able to search courses for something. So Canvas doesn't allow a course-wide search. I've also been able to adapt this to be able to search across multiple courses. So if there's something, some word or phrase that becomes obsolete, we can search for it across all our courses. So I'll show you how that works with just this one course. So we can say course, find text string. I've also got a method that will find an HTML string if you're looking for like a specific link or something like that that's within the HTML. But if you're looking for words that people are reading, students are reading, finding the text string strips out all those HTML tags. Okay, so what are we looking for? So this is a generic course. So we're just looking for lorem ipsum. And we'll hit that. And I actually kind of forgot to check. So really what I should have done is set that equal to a variable. Okay. So now it prints out our matching module items, links to our matching module items. There's only one. It also catches that actual module item and saves it in this variable here. But if we want to go, we can go over here and we can say, here's the URL. And sure enough, if we go here and we search for lorem ipsum, there it is on the page. Great. So that's been super helpful. Like I said, we can also do this across multiple courses. That's been very helpful. So that's one thing that we've done. Another thing is we realized that we didn't have a lot of alt text in our courses. So that's something that's very important. Our images should have alt text. So here we are in Smartsheet. Smartsheet's great because it lets you build filters. It also lets you build reports that basically are another kind of way of filtering information. So I can turn on a filter that will show me all the images in the course. This has got 2 images in it. So these are the names of those images. By default, getting the course inventory just pulls in the names, but if we want to, in this case, we can go ahead and say course add images to Smartsheet. And we can do this, and you'll see that it will run. It'll get those images, and now if we refresh this, we'll see the images are actually here. So This was really nice to be able to pull all that into one place. Then we could have somebody go through, write alt text. If they need to see the context in which these images appear, there's links here to those pages that they appear on. So you can open that up, see the context to help you write your alt text. And basically, if we come over here, we can see we've got a couple of columns. This is the current alt text. The alt text that we might want to write, we would put in here in this alt text column. If it's something that's really complex and we need to write a long description, we can go ahead and write it in this long description column. And in fact, we've got this alt text length here that will tell you the number of characters in your alt text, just to kind of let you know that maybe you should think about switching that to a long description. So right now the alt text is do not touch. That's okay. Let's say, let's change that to a crossed out hand. I don't know if that's a better description, but it is a description. Okay, and then this will be 3 books on a shelf. All right, and actually it looks like our alt text length isn't working here, so let me just turn this off. Got this formula row. Turn that back, make that a column formula. There we go. Turn that back on. Okay, now it's showing us the number of characters. These are obviously very short. No reason to make them long descriptions. We can save that. And then we can go back over here and we can say course update alt text. And you'll see it kind of refreshes that course inventory just to make sure that it's got the most recent information from Canvas. And then it goes ahead and it updates those alt text. So now if we were to open that page, actually I guess it's already open, and we were to go and click edit, click on this image options, and we'll see it's got the new alt text here, a crossed out hand. All right, so that was very helpful for one project to be able to kind of work with it in this kind of distilled form. And then I'll show you one last thing, which is the files. So the way we set up our courses is to keep the files navigation turned off and not available to students. So any files that students need to have access to are provided as links within the modules. As you can imagine, over time, if we were to go and look at these files, they're a bit disorganized. Over time, old things wind up in here. Old files get removed from the modules, don't get removed from the files, what have you. So here's all our files, and right now they're just all dumped in here. So one thing that we wanted to do is be able to know what files are actually being used in the course and what files are just kind of kicking around because they're old. So I created a method for that as well. So I can say course clean up files. And actually, I'm going to put a true in that parentheses. And what that's going to do is, again, it's going to update that inventory. And then it's going to move these files. It's going to delete old folders. That's not really a thing in this case because it's all in one folder. And now if we refresh this view, you'll see that we've got this nice folder structure. And basically, for every module in the course, if there's files in that module, those files are added to a folder with that module name. If the file appears in more than one module, I believe it's added to the first module it appears in. So these are the modules that have files that link out. You can see these are where they are. And then it also adds this unsorted folder. This is basically all the files that are in the course but are not actually linked to from anywhere in the modules. So chances are these files are old and not actually in use in the course. So they're all moved into this unsorted folder. They're all unpublished so that they're not available. And then if you wanted to, if you look at them and you say, yeah, those are old files, you could just go and delete them. I mean, we could have written the code to delete them, but figured we'd probably want to take a final look at it, maybe leave it in the course for a semester and make sure that something doesn't need to be accessed. But that's basically a way to clean up the files in the course. And that true that I added here, this method, actually, if you don't want it to rearrange your files, you could just leave that blank, not put a true there, and it would basically just move any of the files into an unsorted folder, but leave the rest of your file structure intact. So if you've got a different file structure where maybe you want to put all your images in one folder and all your readings in a folder, you could still run that function without destroying your current file structure. But if you've got no file structure, this is probably a good way to go. Okay, so those are just some of the functions that this module does. It's got other functions. I'm always adding to it whenever we have a need because there's already a lot of that code has been built. Adding new functionality often is just a question of piecing a few things together and takes a lot less time than it did to write the initial module. Hopefully this shows some interesting stuff and how it gets used. And I've been using it. I'm not a professional programmer, but I've been using it to learn Python, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been really interesting and helpful as well.